It started on Tuesday night when the McCain campaign released a memo full of certainty that the race for president, which has looked lopsidedly like Obama's to win, was tightening significantly, they said. They said it was too close to call. Today, more of the same. McCain campaign manager Rick Davis told reporters, quote, "We're pretty jazzed up about what we are seeing in the movement of this election." McCain's lead pollster, Bill McInturff, then chimed in, reasserting that massive turnout will favor Senator McCain. What are they seeing that nobody else is seeing? And how can we try to get a peek? Well, we do have some evidence. The polls are evidence. But there's so many of them, it's sometimes hard to know how to follow them sometimes. Enter, drum roll please, the Rachel Maddow Show Polling Doohickey. We focus grouped the name. Our polling doohickey takes a broad view, the sum of recent polls as measured by pollster.com. Rather than living and dying by each individual poll, the mission of the doohickey is to see which way the state races are moving, where things are trending, where is it getting closer, where are McCain or Obama pulling away. Okay, cue the doohickey. I hope it works. In some key hotly contested states, Senator Obama currently has a lead. That's those numbers there. And the movement in the polls shows his lead getting bigger, pulling away. That's the arrow pointing up. These states are New Hampshire, New Mexico, Colorado, Virginia, and Ohio. All of these states are trending blue more and more each day. Well, how about the states where Senator McCain has a lead? He has a lead that he is widening. There is one of those states. It is West Virginia. 5 electoral votes looking McCain-y, and now even McCainier. Well, how about key states where McCain currently has a lead, but the race is tightening? Obama is moving up on him. Those states are Indiana, Georgia, Montana, and South Dakota. Now, the good news for McCain, and maybe the big news here, is that McCain is closing the gap on Obama in Florida and Pennsylvania, big states where McCain is behind, but the polls are moving in McCain's direction. McCain is also closing in on Obama in most national polls, but as you know, national polls don't count. So that's our polling doohickey, a measure of the race based on trends, a glimpse of what's moving rather than a still snapshot. Okay, so that's one kind of evidence of the state of the race, polls. Another kind of evidence, looking at exactly where the game is being played, on whose turf it's being played. Or in my big, awkward sports analogy, viewing the race as sort of a football game, where the goal is to take your opponent's territory away. You can usually tell who's winning a football game by where most of the game is being played, where the action is. When we last checked our Obama v. McCain football field earlier this week, most of the action was playing out on Senator McCain's side of the field, roughly his 25-yard line. He was being forced to defend states like North Carolina and Indiana, states that should be safe because George Bush won them easily in 2004. Well, tonight, the line of scrimmage is in even a worse place for McCain. It looks even worse. Obama announced TV ads today in Georgia, a state that is deep in McCain territory, right around his 20-yard line. Also on the Obama TV ad list, North Dakota. North Dakota, a state George Bush won by 27 points in 2004. That's like roughly John McCain's 10-yard line. You want to know why the Obama campaign thinks they have a chance in reliably red North Dakota? Well, sometimes images say more than words ever could. That's not the stock market crash of the past month. That's the pollster.com trend line of Obama v. McCain in North Dakota. That's McCain up there in red, cratering on his own 10-yard line. I have that up on my office door. But possibly the most alarming thing on our football field for the McCain campaign is that there's one more little state that Obama is heading into as of today, and that little state is Arizona. Forget 04 results in red and blue. Arizona is beyond McCain's metaphorical 1-yard line. Arizona is McCain's home state. That's like his locker room. And John McCain is being forced to defend his own locker room. This would be like Obama campaigning at a McCain family reunion, the part of the family that likes him. So there's the territorial evidence. It is going Obama's way. One last bit of evidence after all this number play here. It's purely qualitative, not quantitative evidence. The McCain campaign is now using Democrats to make the sell in a pair of new ads. This has just gone out from the McCain campaign. It features Barack Obama praising Senator McCain's work on global warming. But I thought Senator Obama's judgment was super suspect and he was super scary. How about this mailer going out in Pennsylvania? Look at that, which links Hillary Clinton to John McCain. It looks like they're dating, because you know how much those rabid Republicans love the Clintons and how much affection John McCain has for Hillary Clinton. Something tells me Senator Clinton is not too jazzed up about that particular flyer, right? So where does the race really stand? It's time to find out from someone who's been on the ground in battleground states. Joining us now is Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota. She is an Obama supporter. She's been traveling around to some of the key battleground states in support of Senator Obama. Senator Klobuchar, happy Halloween. Thanks for coming back on the show.
Well, thank you, Rachel. With our orange and black, we're almost a Halloween duo.
That's actually a very good idea. Some people say I look kind of jack-o'-lanterny even on the best days. So I know what you're thinking here. The McCain campaign is making the case that higher turnout in this election will favor McCain. I am guessing that is not the way you see it. But what do you make of that assessment from them?
Well, you know, it's like they haven't gotten the memo. Everyone in the country knows that Barack Obama has turned out hundreds of thousands of new people, and you can see it in the voter registrations. You can see it in the numbers in these early voting. And I believe this massive turnout is going to favor Barack Obama. And so I'm not quite sure where they're going with this. I'm sure they're desperate to spin different things right now. But what I've seen in these key states, Louisiana, where we are seeing just record turnouts in New Orleans, when you go to Oregon, where unbelievable number of people that are casting their early mail-in ballots. You go to New Hampshire, Colorado, just a lot of excitement out there. So I don't quite know what they're talking about, but in your football analogy, which was very complicated and interesting, Barack's on the offense and they're on the defense. And I would say this, Rachel, I'd say that they have been out of bounds and offline so many times that the American people have basically tossed in a number of penalty flags, big yellow flags, since June, and they keep getting put back and back and back, losing their 10 yards, 15-yard penalties, and they're way back in defense at this point. And those penalty flags are all about the way they've been campaigning, with the hate calls, with the negative connections, and people just don't like that. They want to talk about the economy and health care and energy and how they move this country forward. They like what Barack's been doing and his clear, steady hand as the quarterback.
You know, the more complicated this football analogy gets, the better it gets. I'm enjoying it.
I know.
More
I just
more.
Thought you like. Should I go into the Hail Mary passes that
yes.
they've been tossing? well, you see,
yeah, go for it.
I grew up my dad covered the Vikings, so you just can't match me on football metaphors. But anyway, it's so obvious that we have this change where you have Barack going into these red states like Arizona and North Dakota, things that he really wanted to do from the beginning when he said there's no such thing as a red state or a blue state. And I think this isn't just about winning the election. This is about having a president that's going to come into the White House with the respect of people throughout this country. He may not get the majority in every single red state, but he's going to get a significant amount of the vote. And to really move ahead in this country with those challenges that we have, I think he needs that kind of mandate. So I'm really excited that at this point in the campaign, he's willing and able to go to places like Georgia and Arizona, because we're going to need the people of those states behind us when we tackle health care and when we tackle the economy.
Senator Klobuchar, what do you make of Republicans using, and the McCain campaign specifically, using Barack Obama and using Hillary Clinton in their ads now, using them not just to attack them, but using them in a positive way?
Well, it is certainly a switch and very confusing for people who have been following all these debates where they've been hitting on Barack and calling him names and every name you can think of, and it makes no sense, except I'll say one thing. The fact that Barack has been positive about John McCain's work on climate change is just another sign of what a strong leader he is. You saw it in those debates. He was willing to acknowledge when he agreed with John McCain, when he thought John McCain was right, and he appreciates the work he's done on climate change. Now, I will say, with the Republicans in charge of the White House and in charge of Congress for 6 of the last 8 years, we haven't been really able to move on climate change, but with a new president and a new Senate and a new House, I think we'll be able to do that.
We're seeing some new polling about the race possibly closing in John McCain's favor in Ohio and in Florida, seeing him getting closer to Barack Obama in those states where the lead was already very narrow to begin with. Are you expecting to see any new tactics, any sort of new message, any new special effort to try to hold on to those big and very important states?
I think that we're going to keep with the same strategy from the beginning, which is really going all over the country. You see Joe Biden everywhere. You see Barack everywhere. And I know you're polling Doohickey had some interesting facts there. But the bottom line, you see in Pennsylvania, Barack is still up by 9 points. I talked to Senator Casey just about an hour ago. He was saying that in Pennsylvania, a Democrat hasn't gotten 52% of the vote since LBJ. So you have to look at it in that historical context in some of these more difficult states like Pennsylvania and Ohio and Florida, where I believe we'll do well and in the end we'll win.
Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota, thank you for being with us tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Rachel, and thank you for taking me away from the 8th grade Halloween party for 10 minutes. And now I get to go back and judge the best costume. It's between the Austrian milkmaid and the disco queen.
How are you going to
thinking of you?
How are you going to be choosing between them? Isn't that like a no-win situation?
Well, no, it's my daughter and her friends, and there's all kinds of categories. You have best costume, most creative. Everyone gets a prize.
Very, very, very smart. Thanks, Senator.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.